Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for coming before the committee, and I hope they don't scar you too bad. They're already pretty nice people, really. Just basically two questions. One is a statement, the other is a question. I just wanted to explain to the committee and to the audience that's here today that the Secretary has been diligently working his backside off and working with the four chairs in the House and the Senate to try to put together a package that would be amenable to everybody and still get the job done. And he's really done an admirable job, and he's been above board, very transparent about what he wants to do, what our problems are, and I think in the end, when we all sit down and get our heads together, we'll be able to come up with a plan that's going to take care of Pennsylvania's problems. And we do have a large amount of problems, and I think most of the members of this committee understand we have problems, and you don't fix things with wishing. You fix things with money, and it takes money to fix them. And like the Secretary said, we've kicked the can down the road for a long time, and Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're certainly working on trying to alleviate this problem so we don't have a catastrophe and kill a lot of people. It's all about safety, and I'm sure I want to do that, and I know the Secretary does. But with that said, Mr. Secretary, maybe you could touch upon a problem that's in my district, but yet it's out beyond it, my district, the transit train Amtrak out of Huntington. I'm getting a tremendous amount of calls and letters about Amtrak. If they don't get X number of dollars, they're going to be pulling off train 42 and 43 that's traveling west, and which people in my area, that's the only mass transit we have, is that particular train. We don't have buses or whatever. So I don't know whether you've gotten any calls or letters concerning that, but I know I certainly have, and maybe you could touch upon that a little bit if you would, please.
Sure. The issue facing us, and it's facing every state government, is that the federal government has, through the PREA Act, is looking at a reallocation of what the states will pay for Amtrak service. And currently we subsidize the Keystone East line at about $8 to $9 million a year, and no subsidy on the Harrisburg to Pittsburgh train because it's part of a larger service to the Midwest on to Chicago, and we don't have a state subsidy. Amtrak's currently proposing to increase our subsidy on the Keystone line to about 14 or 15 million, and increasing from 0 to $6.5 million on Keystone West. We have no intention of stopping the train service from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh. However, we are objecting to what we believe is an unfair assessment of Amtrak on the cost of providing that service. The subsidy at the rate they're asking us to subsidize would be $27 a trip for a person, per rider, $27 per person. That would be the subsidy rate of that train. That's pretty high when it's a 5.5-hour train ride. So if we're going to pay $27, you'd honestly say, is that a good use of the taxpayer dollars, or could we get the people to Pittsburgh quicker another route? So we're fighting Amtrak on this. While we certainly do not want to end that train service from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh because it's part of a Midwestern service. As you said, it provides service for some who that's the only way they can get from their location in and out of Pittsburgh and Harrisburg. However, we're going to continue to fight Amtrak on that. Even to the point where we said if they look at the entire service from Harrisburg to Chicago and apportion our costs as that part of that route, that would drop it down to maybe a couple $1 million, which we could live with. But we are having a battle right now that Congressman Schuster is involved with us on at the federal level. But we raised the rates on the Keystone East. We're raising ridership. We're seeing ridership grow. We're seeing revenues grow. We're seeing our rate of subsidy drop. But this is another shift of responsibility from the federal government back to states. And the level they're trying to push on us for the Harrisburg to Pittsburgh trip is really irresponsible. I mean, $27 of subsidy per ride, that's just crazy. And so we're going to continue to fight that, and yet continue to make sure that we provide the necessary service through your district between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. And I am getting calls on it.
Thank you. Maybe having a hearing with Amtrak before the Transportation Committee and yourself might prove fruitful.
Absolutely, that's not a bad idea, and we're going to continue, as I said, to represent you and the other taxpayers of Pennsylvania in this negotiation with Amtrak, as are every other Secretary of Transportation and their representatives with Amtrak. We see this for the service we're getting. We do not like the cost that's being assigned with it. So we're going to continue to fight that battle.
Thank you. We'll talk more in sidebar about that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.